would have thought with this particular actor that he might have been thrilled, literally because he's just got a brand new position, that of the president of RADA. That's right, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. He's taking over from another celebrated actor, that is, of course, the brilliant Kenneth Branagh. And you would have thought, ooh, this would be a cause for celebration. But have you noticed with actors, and there's a certain type, of course, that are forever moaning? It's like the singer Will Young can never really stop bringing up his illnesses or his problems. You're there predominantly to entertain. And David Harwood, who's had a spectacular career, and I think a very good actor, of course, recently appearing in the celebrated series Homeland, well, you would have thought, as I said, that he might have thought, well, this is a good moment. I'll be positive. As ever, let me explain. Good to see you today in the very heart of London, London Victoria. Big terminus here, of course. Many people use this to go down to the wonderful areas like Eastbourne, Brighton, Worthing. So many areas down there in the area of Sussex and beyond. Just wonderful, in fact. I know the dreaded Sussex word, but there are some beautiful areas down there. I've often wondered, as I've said, what people think in Sussex to their county sort of thing being put into, I mean, it's in the literally world domain, isn't it? But perhaps some might suggest for all the wrong reasons, you know, the sort of thing. It's interesting though, as I say, and I like to share these stories with you really to get a feedback, because when you think about it, you have to look at it from the bigger picture and say, when you've been given a wonderful thing, like of course the president of RADA, as this particular actor has, David Harwood, you would have thought, let's find a positive. Now, according to David, well, when he was growing up, there weren't any white stars. And I thought, well, what country and what were you watching? Because there's been many coloured stars for many years. Everybody from, of course, Billie Holiday to brilliant Sammy Davis Jr., right back to Hattie McDowell, of course, in Gone with the Wind. But then if you were watching television in the 70s, which one would assume that Mr. Harwood was, well, then we'd have seen a real diverse mix of talent. The ubiquitous Lenny Henry, the brilliant actor Norman Rossington, the beautiful Carmen Munro, a favourite of mine in General Hospital, but there were just so many others, you know, as I say, Charlie Williams, a wonderful comedian on primetime television. You remember Don Warrington, who had a wonderful role in the excellent comedy Rising Damp. And you come away thinking, well, okay, you know, obviously this guy has a few problems, but here's where it gets really tricky, because when you delve deeper into his story, he did spend a couple of years living alongside another celebrated actress, Vanessa Redgrave. Apparently she was something of a mentor, and they were friends for over 2 years. He apparently lived at her flat, all documented, allegedly. So of course he would have had access to some of the world's most, you know, really prestigious people in that particular circle. So I'm not decrying what he's saying, but what I'm saying is look a little bit deeper and look around and think, truly, was that honestly the case? I remember interviewing and meeting the wonderful newscaster, Trevor McDonald, who really was a professional, literally, and held the National Television Awards when it was something to watch, literally at the fingertips of professionalism. He was absolutely brilliant at all the things that he did. And he said to me, the bottom line really is you just have to be good at the job. Everything else seemingly doesn't matter. Now, with David really at the peak of his acting powers and at 59 years old, you would have thought he may have taken this wonderful opportunity and this wonderful prestigious role that he's now being given at RADA to actually thank a lot of those people that paved the way for him to literally land that role here in 2024. But as ever, they don't necessarily find it in their heart to do that, do they? I'd love to know what you think to this particular story in the comments below. Neil Sean, Victoria, London.